VCW Pro Wrestling continues with the following rematch for the VCW
Title contention here at VCW. Jason Heat alongside Brandon Metheny. We've got a three-way dance for the VCW Liberty Championship. Saul Esparza is the most recent former champion, losing the title in his very first defense, a champion's nightmare. Saul Esparza, accompanied by Sharkey, who claims to be the manager of champions. Let's see if he can live up to that moniker tonight and assist the Spice in regaining the Liberty title. Saul Esparza was incensed that he lost that championship. Basically accosted Sharkey and said, "You better make this right." Neil did all his wheeling and dealing to get an immediate rematch for his client. But it's not a one-on-one. This is a three-way dance. And the third participant, the other most recent former Liberty champion, the man that Saul Esparza defeated for that title, at the same time turfing him from the Sharkey tank, and that would be the Hoss of all Hosses, Devantes. Solo and dangerous. And things have not been well in the house of Sharkey. It was earlier tonight that it very much seemed like Desmond King tendered his resignation from the Sharkey tank. Fewer and fewer sharks in the water. That leave the remaining members more vulnerable or stronger? Devantes has promised he will go member by member through the tank until he gets his hands on every single one of them, gets the Liberty title back, and gets his hands on Sharkey tonight. Because in a three-way dance, the champion does not have the advantage. Brandon Scott doesn't even have to be involved in the finish to lose his title. We can see right there, Saul and Devantes making eyes with each other. Brandon is the third wheel.
Introducing the winners. First, challenger number 1, standing to my left. He is up against the ring. Our natural champions, he is Sharkey. Hailing from Star City, weighing at 200 pounds. He is a member of the Sharkey Gang and the former VCW.
Saul may not like it, but it's true.
Saul Esparza. Introducing the challenger to standing to my right, hailing from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and weighing at 231 pounds, the Hoss of Hosses,
A decidedly mixed reaction for the champion, Brandon Scott, who has spent the better part of the last few years as an insufferable presence here in VCW, but over the last few months really had a change of heart and a change of attitude. Was handed a few hefty doses of humility by our Director of Operations, Jerry Stefanitsis, and had really been embraced by a lot of our fan base, but old wounds are hard to heal here at Hampton High, and is that going to get in the head of Brandon Scott? He has been used to receiving adulation, and now not quite so much here at Hampton High.
Well, I think that Jason, we've seen a self-confidence reemerge in Brandon Scott in a very constructive, positive way since he won the championship, understandably, but I think that the crowd is going to be less in his head now. Saul Esparza with interesting strategy, just exiting the ring.
Saul Esparza, often considered a very crafty competitor, but clearly very emotional today, very in his feelings, as they say. Literally got in your face when you announced that he was the former champion, which is factual.
It is, yeah. I was literally, I mean, he lost the championship a month ago. There's no judgment on that. It's just a fact. And something that's clearly still very much an open wound for him. This is a poor decision by Esparza. I would have stayed out there quietly if I was him.
Esparza calling attention to himself, and now proving to be the enemy is my enemy for both Brandon Scott and Devantes. And while this alliance probably won't last very long, it can do a lot of damage to the Spice in the meantime.
No, I don't think that Brandon Scott and Devantes feel they care for each other, but they both hate Saul Esparza, and that's good enough right now.
Saul Esparza, such a little goon, eminently hateable, and being dumped outside exactly where Saul wanted to be fair.
Oh, Brandon Scott going for a quick roll up there!
Old habits die hard.
Well, and just that, I mean, only one man can win this match, and that was clearly an alliance of convenience and no longer existing.
Brandon Scott, an opportunist, but the laws of physics do apply, and you might be excellent, but this is the Hoss of all Hosses.
Yeah.
You are not going to knock him down.
Trying to match power for power with Devantes is not going to end well for you. I mean, I know you said at the top of the night that Desmond King may be the strongest person pound for pound here. I think that may be Devantes, and that explosive power is unmatched.
Devantes will give anyone a run for their money in the strength department. Great agility there by Brandon Scott, who is a former VCW champion on his first reign as the Liberty champion.
Esparza looking to pick his spot. And a shot to the kidneys by Esparza there. Not pretty, but effective.
Saul Esparza, the favorite son of Neil Sharkey.
And Sharkey's had a rough night so far, so you got to believe he is all in on Esparza right here.
Forearm shivers, trying to very quickly take out the back of Brandon Scott.
And Scott got him that time, but Esparza right back to the gut. And now with a gut wrench suplex, beautifully done.
Esparza is very powerful, low center of gravity.
But here comes Devantes. That's the name of the three-way match, Jason. You got to know where the other guy is at all times.
Devantes has promised to get his hands on every member of the Sharkey tank, but there's no one he wants more, other than Neil Sharkey, than Saul Esparza. And I think Saul is having he's right behind me moment.
I believe so, yes. And if he wasn't, he certainly is now.
These two used to be teammates. It's probably too much to say they were friends, but they were certainly allies, so they know each other very well. They train together, they game plan together.
Absolutely, you don't be friends to have had strategies together and to work together, and that's the situation here. And I mean, you got to believe that they both know what each other's weaknesses are.
And this is the dangerous moment for Brandon Scott, because he can be a non-factor in his own title defense. Right now, if Saul or Devantes is able to get the upper hand for just 3 seconds, Brandon Scott loses the title, and he's got nothing to say for it.
Nope, that's it. He loses that championship.
Right now.
Well done. And we have not seen hide nor hair of Scott since he got thrown to the outside after those shots to the lower back of the kidney by Saul Esparza.
The great urgency on the part of Saul Esparza. 1 count, didn't get discouraged, put him immediately into a submission. That's focus.
I mean, in a match like this, where there are multiple people around, where, as you said, you don't have to be involved to lose the match, but you do to win, the best thing to do is try to get those fast victories, try to get out of here before anyone else realizes what's going on.
Saul was trying to get that octopus hold on, which he uses to finish off opponents, and instead throwing Devantes, which is no mean feat.
And Devantes' lower legs hitting those ropes, you really can cause some serious damage there. We talk this all the time, Jason, but those are cables wrapped in rubber. They hurt and can tear those ligaments. And an unwitting ally in Brandon Scott there.
Looking to impress his quote-unquote best friend, Neil Sharkey. And now, Saul Esparza doing a great job of playing defense.
But turning his back for too long on this Xcellence.
One of the most underrated portions of Brandon Scott's game is his ability to turn up the speed very quickly. I feel like that gets overlooked often, and you can't overlook it when he is coming at you like a 50-mile-per-hour fastball. And
I want to point out there that he landed on his feet. He connected with both men, took them down, and stayed on his feet. That was impressive body control by Brandon Scott, clearly with the upper hand now.
Brandon Scott, one of the most decorated members of the roster, has held nearly every title in this company's history. We're looking at 3 current or former champions.
Oh, this is about as star-studded match as you'll get. And Scott looking to press the advantage. Devantes sliding back in the ring. Scott saw him coming and takes him down with that low DDT.
Great awareness there by Brandon Scott, but very smart by Devantes, who rolled towards the ring ropes, I should say, was able to get out anyways, but playing defense himself, this is all going to be about positioning and awareness.
It is, and about pressing the advantage and taking those moments when you have them. They don't come up all the time. You have to see them when they're there and strike.
The only way to win a 3-way dance is to eliminate one opponent and then take advantage of that moment by downing another.
But to be clear here, it's not an elimination. Oh, here we go. Could be the end of the match.
No, it's not an elimination match. I should say what I mean is you got to incapacitate one and then leave the other one vulnerable for 3 seconds. Basically, you have to down 2 men at once.
And you have to have once you sort of start that, you have to have a game plan for how it's going to end. That's the key. You have to be in a position to say, okay, I've gotten this person down or out of the ring, and now I've got the next thing I'm going to do to this guy to put him down, win the match. Step 1 right there, Brandon Scott throws Devantes out. Step 2, what's he going to do to put Saul Esparza down?
Basically, the clock is ticking now for Brandon Scott to be able to take advantage and get a pinfall. You throw somebody out, you have as long as it takes for them to recover to try and get that win, because as soon as they're in, it's not going to happen. It just is not going to happen.
No, it's just there's too much happening all at once. The ring is just not that big to stop, for someone not to be able to stop a pinfall attempt.
This is a refreshed, refocused Brandon Scott looking, well, the best he has in a long time.
I mean, let's be honest, Jason. Last month, we were wondering if this was the end of the line for Brandon Scott, if he was just going to go into a downward spiral and stop getting these chances, and he walks in tonight the Liberty champion.
Well, it was very fair to say that Brandon Scott
absolutely
got this title opportunity originally based on his past laurels, not his most recent accomplishments, but he took advantage of it, and
talk about picking your spots and using that power. Devantes putting both men down. If he can get to his feet, he can win this match right here.
the Hoss of all Hosses, known for explosive power and unbridled aggression, both on display right there.
And now all three men are down, and we are just waiting to see. I guess we're looking at potentially a three-way count out here.
Saul Esparza was the Young Lion standout in the original Young Lions Open Challenges. That's where he was scouted by Sharkey. For a long time was content to maybe be in the shadow of Devantes, but Saul Esparza's ego does not allow him to be in the shadow of anyone anymore.
No, and Sharkey, his goal is always gold. He wants to win those championships, and right now Saul Esparza is by far his best chance to do so.
The Hoss of all Hosses throwing his opponents around with impunity.
Brandon Scott just missing Saul Esparza there. Devantes fully in control right now.
Anger is a great motivator, Brandon, and no one is as angry as Devantes on a day-to-day basis in this match.
The question is, though, can he close it out? Can he finish this match? Anger gets you there, but do you have then the focus to actually win the match?
Devantes, eyes on the prize right now, looking for that TKO. And the Thor, the spear, right to Brandon Scott. Sharkey interrupting the count.
Sharkey paying dividends. This is a no disqualification match because of the structure of a three-way match. Very smart to get involved there, saving the match for his client. And now Saul Esparza's got the championship. Referee has ejected Sharkey.
A wrestler can't maybe be disqualified, but a manager can certainly be ejected. The question is, has Sharkey done enough to make up for his ejection?
Devantes out there, he is looking at Sharkey, and he has violence in his eyes right now.
And now Sharkey throwing water in the eyes of Devantes.
That's like a red flag to a bull. Devantes, Sharkey, you better keep running.
The chase is on, but did Devantes fall for it? Because right now, he can't win the match if he's on the outside.
The slice of excellence. This is it. Scott's going to retain the championship.
Brandon Scott is going to retain the title. Holy smokes.
I can't believe Esparza by the skin of his teeth kicking out there. Our fans do not think that was a good count by the official, but I think it was. It was close, but Esparza got out.
That was all credit to Esparza. He may have been trying to take the easy way out with the belt, but he had to fight from inside to kick out of the slice of excellence.
And Brandon Scott, well, that's your championship, sir. I suppose if he was going to use it, it makes sense for it to be you.
This is a real test for Brandon Scott. Who is he now? We have seen him eschew the dark side in the recent past.
Jason, he's a champion. And once you stay a champion, he needs to do what needs to be done to remain a champion. Do it, Brandon. Keep your championship.
Saul begging and pleading. And Brandon Scott maybe thinking twice about, oh wait. Saul was actually begging for him to hit him and instead hits the low blow. And Saul Esparza has taken the title. It was a moment where Brandon Scott had the opportunity to decide what man he wanted to be. He wanted to be the kind of person that got him to this title, not the kind of person that lost him his path early on, but it didn't pay off tonight.
Yeah, Jason, look, I appreciate that. In this case, Brandon, it's a no disqualification match. It's his championship. You take that shot. You have to take that shot, retain your championship, and it cost him tonight.
Agree to disagree. I think that your morals, your sense of self, that's a huge thing to lose in the pursuit of a title. Brandon's gone down that path before. Maybe it did cost him tonight, but it didn't cost him his soul.
Perhaps, but he's walking out with his suitcase quite a bit lighter.
Saul Esparza, the Spice, is a two-time Liberty champion, and the Sharkey tank has gold in its coffers once again.